Don Braden. Litchfield Jazz Festival. Hey, Darcy. Hi, Rosie. My guest tonight. Ooh, there we go. Don Braden, everyone. He's our guest tonight here on 11:11 with Jenna. How you guys doing? What's going on? It's Sunday night. Sunday, June 28th. Darcy Jarvis is watching. Courtney, Julie Luz. Hi, Julie. Hi, ladies. Ladies on the stage. Wasn't last night so much fun with Melanie DeMore? Yeah, Mel. What's up? We had fun. I see a little, my co-host is crooked. Frida's a little crooked. And I cooked tonight, so the olive oil is on the... This is from Diamante, from northern Italy. Actually, it's from Impruneta and Castelfranco Veneto in the Treviso. Happy Pride, happy Sunday. Lillian's home. She's sitting on the ground all curled up because there's a lot of fireworks going on tonight. Not a fan. Super fun. And my cousin Mark. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Big hug to both of you. Are you in town? Hey, Chef. Chef, when are you going to come and be on my show? Hi, Mama Grace Mammina. So, Darcy, I would love to have you on the show sometime. Darcy Jarvis. Hey, Patricia. Yay, you're back. I'm so glad you're back. I missed you so much. All of a sudden, you just poof. You were there a lot and then just disappeared. So, Darcy, I've known since, I think, junior high. Maybe elementary school, but I think junior high. And she went on to become a nurse, like a surgical and help me. She's been a nurse for a really long time, and she works in the ICU in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I saw her in action 3 years ago, I think. Oh, cool. Okay. ICU nurse. 30 plus years. Yes, she's family, but I watched her take care of my family and other people. You know, let me buy you a coffee. Just those little things that when your dad's in ICU or he's in surgery and you don't know if you're going to see him again. And she's the bomb shit nurse. So I would love to have you on the show sometime. And I think about that when we were in the cafeteria that day, and I thought, she's doing this not because we're family, but this is what she does. This is her job. And you're so great at what you do and putting people at ease at, some of the scariest times of their lives. So, thank you, Darcy Jarvis, from the whole Mammina family. And Mark, she's the bomb shit. But you know that, and I know that. And so are you. And we need to celebrate your birthday this year because it's a good day. Both Mark Mammina and my dad had the same birthday. So, August 22nd. Really quick, I know I should just post this to one person, but does anybody use this for their dog? Simparica? And if you do, I can't use it on Lillian. So I have a box that has 2 tablets in it. It's just like, you know, I don't know, $70 or something. But let me know if you do. I will send it to you because it's just going to sit here. And it's for small dogs because Lillian is, of course, 11 pounds, 11 ounces. And, you know, I guess if your dog is 25 pounds, you could do 2. But for dogs, I'm sorry, I lied about that. For dogs, 11.1 to 22 pounds. So I guess if you had a 44-pound dog. But it's just sitting here and I don't want to throw it away. I know I sing, throw it away, give your love, live your life. I want to give it away, give it away. Yeah, I bought this and it's still good. Yeah, it's still good. And it's chewable. So what did we do today, Lillian Pearl? Well, we had that. And we played F-R-I-S-B-E-E. Oh, yes, she is. Are you kidding me? 11 pounds, 11 ounces. My perfect pearl. Lillian Pearl. Gracie and I, we went cruising around. We did the garden. We did a little bit in the garden. I didn't plant the celery yet because I just started doing all this other stuff and picking all the mulberries, and because the birds are there. There's bluebirds, and there were bluebirds and cardinals and robins in our trees all at the same time today. It was great. And then Grace and I went, hey, Mary Carson, Scary Mary in the house. It's a heavy Midwest thing going on here. Oh wait, Julie Luce is here, Fresno. So we have Lillian Pearl. She's perfect for me. She's just perfect. She doesn't think fireworks are so perfect. Mary Mexico in the house. Mary Mexico. I'm so glad you're here. Hi. Hi, Mary Mexico. When are you going to be on the show so we can talk about your beautiful home and, or both? You have a lot going on in your life. In Mexico, where you are, I know you're up in the mountains. Are you all wide open now? Is everything a party? Just curious. But I do want to talk with you. We were going to talk last week, so let's talk this week if we can. Okay, Chef Sean Hale is going to be on the show this week. That's what he says, anyway. And Bill Winokur. Hi, Bill. I have to make sure I'm waving to everybody. Patty, I love you. I need a dress, Patty. I need more tie-dye. Hey, Chef, if you're still there, did you get your golf cart happening? I get concerned about my peeps. So, yeah, Grace and I, we did some planting today. Hello, Melanie. Thank you for being on the show last night. That was so much fun. Gracie loved it. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people were saying, hey, what let's do a workshop. No. Oh, yes, totally. The aviary. And then I went to Aldi and picked up a couple things, and then I went to a couple other stores and grabbed some things, and then we came home. I did too. I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much, Melanie. When are you coming back? When do you want to come back? We hung out in the garden tonight, and we talked to Lisa and Katie on the phone, and we FaceTimed with them, and we saw the gardens. Got to get Dr. Katie and Lisa, because they have a victory garden, with lots of herbs and beautiful greens, and they have. I have celery envy, I have to say. She has 11 celery plants planted. So you can all hear me and see me, and everything is cool. I want to make sure that we got that all taken care of. And I am going to set up Melanie, you, and Jenna. We worked great last night. I can't wait till we got to get the live thing happening. We need to book it. Maybe if you call Peter. How about you call Peter? Oh no, I have a better idea. I have a really good idea. We're going to ask. Well, we'll talk about it later. But we need to get it a little bit more, like, because it's going to happen. But right now, what is happening on 11/11 with Jenna? 7 days, 14 times a week. Hi, Michael. Is my friend Don Braden is standing by, and he is going to join us. How deep you plant the celery root. That's why I'm hoping for pictures. Oh, what you do is you just plant you plant the celery itself. Yeah, we need to. And we need to get going on that other thing too. Hi, Dawn. You like just keep the tree above and plant that whole little celery heart, because there are beautiful roots on it. And they're not crazy roots. They have like 7 or 11, probably 11. It's like, I can't help it. It just happens. It just happens that way. Yes, we need to get on it. So Mel, can we have a meeting this week? Just like a brainstorming meeting and get it together? I know you didn't say yes yet, but I'm just assuming you say yes. Okay, give me like 30 seconds. Actually, give me more like a minute. If you don't mind. If you don't mind. And this morning was really fun. My friend Carla Neary was on. Jason, sorry. Paul. Paul and Carla were on. And she was so much fun. And Paul was on, and we talked about their daughter. She's dating someone. Hold on a second. I just have to get this together here. We're WhatsApping with our guest, Don Braden. What up? He is. No, he's not. Okay, so really quick. Tomorrow night. Hi, Jean. Hi. Hi, Jean. Hi, Kathy. Hi. Oh, if I could give you a hug, I would give you a double hug. Wow. Tomorrow night, meditation. And then Tuesday, and then Wednesday is Coquelicot, and Thursday is Corona Roki International Limited. So, Darcy, do you sing karaoke? Because if you sing karaoke, you too can sing Corona Roki. Back at you. I feel it. I feel the love. Okay. Oh, he sent me another one, but oh well. Don Braden. He's got some really exciting things to talk about. Hi there.
Hey there.
What's happening? It works.
Too much as always. How you doing?
Too much as always? Well, is that a good thing?
Yeah, of course it is.
Good.
Life's too short to sit around.
My father would always say he'll sleep when he's dead. So.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
You got it.
So what's your shirt? Bermuda?
This happens to be a Bermuda shirt. It's really just my wife. I've actually not been to Bermuda, but my wife and family went there when I was on tour at some point. They brought me back a shirt.
Right.
It fits nice and nice color, so I wear it.
It's a good color.
Actually, I've been there once. Hamilton. We went there on the way cruising. We had some family there. So when we stopped by, they visited. And another time we were on a cruise randomly, and like we're there for a day or whatever. But I haven't spent real time. This shirt came from the trip where they actually hung out, and I was working.
That's funny. Your wife, all he got was the shirt, but it's a good shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Don Braden, right here, live
There I am.
on 11:11 with Jenna.
Look at that.
It's a good blue. Tell your wife she knows she knows what to pick.
She knows what's up.
So, are you in? Where do you live?
South Orange, New Jersey.
Okay. Because I've only seen you. You know, where did we see each other last? New York. New York.
Well, Jen. Yeah, New York. Yeah, Jazz Congress. Right.
Jazz
so
Congress.
Right across the river.
Jazz Congress. And Rolf, the guitar player that I work with, lives in North Bergen.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's so close.
Yeah, he's in North Bergen, and I hang out in Jersey City. We play at this cool little place in Jersey City that now I can't think of the name of this moment. But anyway, so you're in Jersey. Where did you grow up there?
No, I grew up in Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh. So when we did Jen in Louisville, that was Old Home Week for you then, I bet.
Correct. And this coming January, assuming it happens, will once again be Old Home Week. So we'll see.
Have you been talking to anybody about conferences and what's the possibility?
You know, it's still too far away, so everybody's wishy-washy, confused. Wishy-washy is not a fair characterization, but confused is.
Nobody knows.
No one knows. We're in new territory here, so we're going to just go with the flow. Right now, they're planning to go forward because, everything at the gym website, they're doing stuff, and everybody's planning on Louisville, so we'll just have to see. It's so far away, sort of too far away to cancel at this point. We'll just have to see what happens in the fall. Look at, September, October, and then I'm sure they'll be, figuring it out in that time frame, if not before.
Are you part of Jen?
Not officially. I do, I'm a member of the African American Jazz Caucus of Jen, which is not necessarily a Jen operational thing. It's more of a membership with certain priorities, etc. As far as focusing on make sure that African American folks get, the next level of possibility, opportunity, etc. So I'm involved in that, but and I've done some presenting at Jen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm planning to present again this year, so we'll see if that happens. But otherwise, no, I don't have a function currently.
But when you performed there, I saw you perform there. I think that year you present that 3 years ago.
I played there a few times. I played at Jen a few times with my own band, and a few other times just randomly. And I've done some presentations. I did last year. I did a few. A presenter, I introduced to a few people. Holly Ross, our dear friend who passed. I presented Alexis Cole when she did her workshop there. So I was kind of the Jen presenter. So in that sense, I guess I'm a little bit of an official guy.
He's official. He's an official guy.
Yeah.
We met at Jazz Times. Well, what it used to be called. How many different names? IAJE.
Well, so Jazz Times and IAJE were two different things. So IAJE predated Jen, right? So there was the IAJE, which was focused on the kind of educational deal, and then that morphed when it had its crash and burn. That out of those ashes came Jen, right? So Jazz Times, what they do now is essentially the Jazz Congress. That's basically what they do now, if I understand the kind of pathways correctly. So the Jazz Times Convention was something back in the day, right?
We had so much fun at that conference. Oh my God, they were so much fun.
Oh yeah. Oh, they were always, all of them are really fun for me. I enjoy seeing our colleagues and friends all together in one spot and all that. It just seems to be happening for a long time. And people like you who I basically met there. I didn't see you around. Because you're not in New York. You live in. Tell me again where you are.
Well, I'm in Michigan right now, but I'm in California.
You are, right? You're up in California.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I'm in
Right, so
St. Joseph, Michigan at this moment. Southwest Michigan, right? Michigan looks like in between Kalamazoo and Chicago. Hi, John.
Cool. Yep, I know exactly where that is.
My friend Bill Winokur. Do you know Bill? Drummer from Boston.
Yeah.
Bill says and I have to agree, Don Braden is one of the best tenor men in the nation.
Oh, wow. That's very generous. That's very generous. I'll take that. I appreciate that. I appreciate the appreciation.
And he's such a lovely human. I just love Bill. Bill and Bo are like, they're my brothers, you know? Like, you're my brother. I have these wonderful extended family all over the country, and a lot of it is from, every year I always think, am I going to Jazz Congress, or am I going to IJ or Jen? And Rolf and I do 4 conferences in January.
Right. Me too.
And, you know, it's like by the 11th, by the 10th or 11th day, I'm talking to a wall going, hi, how are you? Hi.
Exactly. Have you seen my new CD?
Right. Hi. Right. I mean, literally, like I'm on the subway and going, I need to talk to, I better talk to, and because half the people are going to the conference anyway, but
of course.
I can't imagine not going this year. I can't, or next year, 2021. I can't imagine being in. We do Folk Alliance, we do Jen, we do IAJE, and then we do a smaller one. And the Folk Alliance this year is in Kansas City.
Really?
Yes. And that's
okay.
So we'll see. We will see.
We'll see.
So what'd you have for lunch today?
Lunch? Well, let's see. So the way my eating is, I'm a whole big health and fitness guy.
Yes.
So I have
okay, what did you eat today? Better than that. What did you have? What did you eat today?
I broke my fast. Yeah, I broke my fast. So I intermittent fasting is my thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I eat between 8-hour window. So today's window started around 2, a little bit late, and ended around 9, give or take. So I broke my fast with a beautiful fruit salad that I made a few days ago with nothing fresh, because our garden, I actually started a garden at my home all summer for a change.
Right.
So I started a garden with my wife. So we have some tomatoes, grape tomatoes, cilantro, basil, mint, and I think that's all this time around, a bunch of flowers. So hopefully the months of fruit coming now. So in a month, I guess I'll have a bounty of vegetables, fruits, etc. But this batch came from Whole Foods, so, you know, it's like fresh in the bottle, as they say, right? Hey, you have fresh squeezed orange? Do you have fresh squeezed orange juice? Yes, fresh in the bottle.
Fresh in the bottle.
So, but a beautiful fruit salad and some yogurt. Yeah, that was how I broke my fast. And then for the second meal, I had, let's see, what did I have? Oh, yeah, I had some sushi, that from Whole Foods again, and some tuna with quinoa brown rice, you know, wrapped around. That was a sushi pot. And raw tuna, and a leftover grass-fed hamburger, about a half one that I made a couple days ago.
Nice.
And some potatoes with truffle oil.
Ooh.
You know, like that's my new favorite thing now. Truffle oil on whatever will take it.
I know, it's so good. It's so. I watch Chopped a lot, and they're like, "Careful with the truffle oil." I'm like, "No, more truffle oil, more truffle oil." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I also had a cabbage salad that I made, so with red cabbage and some I did use cilantro from my garden on that. So cilantro, some parsley, some tomatoes that I bought, not my own tomatoes yet. And what else in that salad? A couple other things, some mushrooms. Yeah, nice, really hearty. Full on. My wife calls it a Braden salad because I don't do that much lettuce. I tend to do more just vegetables piled together, with some oil and vinegar. You know. But dense. It's very dense, like me.
But a cabbage salad is so satiating. You know, you eat it and you go, yeah, this is just so, and there's so much life to it.
Oh yeah, big time. I'm a big live food guy, and I'm as much raw as possible, organic as much as possible. All that is huge, and I'm really used to it. So I'm looking for nutrient dense food, and it's transformed my life in terms of illness and energy levels and all that kind of good stuff. You know, compared to before, which was still fine, but I always had a lot of energy. But clean food really makes a huge difference. So I'm all about it.
You and I end up talking about food. Everyone else is they're like, here's my CD. And we're like, so what have you been? How's your raw food? What's going on? So here we are again. This is Don Braden. He's an incredible saxophonist, plays all over the world, and we're talking about raw food. But hi, Keith Terry. fabulous. People are coast to coast right now. So I did hear something. Are you playing sometime at the Blue Note? Kind of something going on?
Yes. So I'm doing the Blue Note at Home stream series tomorrow night at 8. So myself and Oscar Perez. Oscar's coming over here to the studio. We're going to be social distance. And I haven't decided, well, I have to confer with him whether to do the keyboard or the piano. They're both workable. Piano's in decent tune and everything, so it's just a matter of what he's in the mood for. And we're just going to play, duo and just play some tunes and maybe talk a little bit depending on how the energy goes, etc. But mostly we're going to play, just make music. And I'm excited because I think I've had, since March, beginning of March, I've had like 4 gigs or something like that.
Wow, that's quite a few. Good for you.
Which is actually quite a few. Which is, I did an outdoor yoga gig 2 weekends ago. I did Yoga Jazz Journey with my friend Dorota Ellington over at Yoga Universe in Sparta, New Jersey. We did a really cool socially distanced outdoor yoga.
Cool.
Where we had a big yard and about 30, 40, 35 some people out there. Myself, Carl Latham, and Oscar, we did trio, again, socially distanced. And we just played some tunes, and they did the yoga thing, and it was awesome.
It's
that
awesome,
was my first
isn't it?
real gig. It was a man, and watching the yoga and playing, we just improvised. We did tunes and everything, but we improvised with the movements and whatnot, so had a vibe. It was fantastic. So outdoors, weather was perfect, so that was a good way to get back to doing a gig, is go outside and play. Go play outside. Go play outside.
That's what I've been doing. I've done a number of, at least I think 6 outdoor gigs and then some Zoom gigs, but isn't it strange? I mean, this has to be the first time you've been on land for this long, in a very long time.
Totally. I mean, I travel on average 8 to 20 days a month.
Yeah.
Some months I'm out like 20 days, and some months I'm out some days every month, and then typically it's 10 to 15 days a month I'm out. So that's a lot of travel. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm like America. United gave me a 1,000,000-miler certificate.
Yay! You got one. Okay.
Current.
Do you know what happens when you call in? Like, say you called in to United tonight, and you were going to book a gig. I was going to say you wanted to book a flight. So, because you're now 1K with United. I'm
not 1K yet. 1K is a different thing. The 1,000,000 thing is its own thing, and then the actual level on platinum, which is one below 1K.
So
actual yearly level.
Well, you still get it. You'll get it. Well, what happens on their screen is, you're platinum. You get, it'll go across their screen. You put your name in and your number, and it goes Don Braden, platinum, big bop 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 bop, and they're like, "Hello, Mr. Braden. How are you, sir, tonight?" When you're 1K, they bring out the band. It's a whole trip when you become 1K on United.
So I'm not a 1K yet. So I don't have the dancing girls and the dancing boys and the
You will
traveling theme music. Well, not this year.
Not this year.
So we gotta get through COVID first, then we'll see.
Have you been into Manhattan?
That would be a no. I've not been to Manhattan since March, since mid-March. So I've been right here in Jersey. I've not been anywhere. I've been in the house, and then I've been out on a bicycle every day, running most days, or several days a week. I've been really physical outdoors, especially since the weather's been decent, but not outside Jersey. I guess I've been really boring. How about that? Good for me.
I think that's great. And is your wife an essential worker?
No, she works at Columbia University. So she's been working from home. She works in human resources. She's a human resources exec at Columbia. So, universities, especially human resources, they've been super busy, as you can imagine.
I bet.
But she's been right here, doing the thing. And so, universities right now, they're working on it. They're trying to figure, I work at Harvard part-time, so I've been commuting up. Like this past year, I commuted up every 8 weeks per semester. And, I'm in touch with them as well, and everybody's trying to figure it out.
Has Columbia said are they going to start in August?
They haven't said. That's what I'm saying. They're working on it. So they haven't committed yet. We'll soon. They will have to make a decision this month, I think, or early July. I think the current plan is to let people know in early July. So we'll see.
My dear friends they come on quite a bit now. My friends Susan and Matt Gorbett, their daughter is going to university in Canada, and they gave them the option where they could not go and stay home, or go, and they're going into the dorms. They get their own room at the dorms, no double, no triple, quadruple, and their first quarter is all online.
Right.
So they're in their rooms and they're in school online.
Right.
Which could be.
Right.
But
we'll see.
Teaching music online has its own interesting spin. Do you teach? Do you have students that you teach on Zoom or?
Yeah. Well, yes. I have a couple Zoom students, and then I'm running the Litchfield music director, I should say. I'm not the operations person, but I'm doing the Litchfield Jazz Camp, Virtually Yours, which is an online version of our 4-week camp. It's usually 4 weeks with a bunch of kids there, but this year we can't do that, so we got it down. We changed it to 2 weeks, and we're doing 5 days of online classes with our faculty members per week and concerts every night. So I'm going to be streaming. Actually, I can look up the dates. I'll find the dates and tell you, but basically they're soon now, I guess. I think it's the 14th of July and the 20th of July. I believe those are my streaming dates. But anyways, I have a couple streaming dates where I'll do concerts right here with a trio or quartet, social distance and all that, streaming out for the jazz camp students, which are publicly available. In addition to my Blue Note adventure tomorrow night. And then we'll be teaching classes. I'm teaching theory every morning at 10, so that's what I'll be doing there. So in addition to my regular, couple Zoom students, and I'm doing something for a Texas Jazz and Blues Camp in August, September as well. We're doing some online classes. So that's kind of what I'm doing, is like the online, either streaming classes, like Zoom interactive classes, or I've been doing videos too. So I've started to put, a collection of videos. I have one I put out of scale practice just recently on YouTube. So just simple things that will hopefully help people, trying to get 5-6 minutes, like short videos, people can get some specific skill to work on. So that's kind of the mode I'm in now. So I got a whole little video studio here that I've been developing. It's trippy. Right?
I know. I have all this stuff now, and this is my kitchen, and I have all this.
Right. I thought I could see, yeah.
This tech stuff that I didn't know that much about. I mean, I've been learning a lot, so. Yeah. And a little resistant about it, but so.
Yeah. What do you do?
You seem awfully busy.
Yeah, I'm actually surprisingly, considering I'm not traveling or touring at all, like zero. I'm quite busy, because I've got a few online gigs, like these videos to produce, which are essentially gigs online, but it's a whole different process because I have to make a movie, essentially. So I'm shooting film here like every week, basically, and so it's quite. And luckily, I'm a techie guy. Like I have a computer background. That's what I studied when I was an undergraduate at Harvard. I studied engineering computers, so I'm pretty comfortable with computers, and so that comfort has helped translate into a significant accumulation of engineering, audio and video engineering skills, which are very helpful. Right here.
For sure.
So, so I'm just, and the geeky side of me is enjoying it. I much prefer playing on stage with people and interacting, etc. But the geeky side of it is enjoying the tinkering of, getting the edits just right and camera angles and getting the audio right and all that kind of stuff. At that part, it was be fun for me, but it is arduous, long work, way longer than doing a gig, playing a tune with some cats. Hey, let's play. It could happen to you in 5 minutes, and boom, we have a beautiful song. And in this version of it, I get the bass player's part, the drummer's part, the piano player's part, edit together, synchronize, and get the lighting just right between them. And yeah, it's trippy, but all good. I mean, I'm having fun with it. So,
what kind of camera?
So I have 3 cameras. I have my main camera that I use for shooting is a Nikon D7000, which is an SLR, which has got a nice video mode with a big DX sensor. So much, it's very nice. Does very nice video. And then I have 2 Panasonics, a V770 and a V160. The V160 carry around with me all the time, and then oftentimes anyway. And the V770 is a bigger one with a medium-sized sensor. So that one's pretty good. So I use that in the Nikon, and I end up getting pretty decent quality on the video. So
Cool.
I use those. I have a bunch of other cameras, little ones, but those three are the main ones for video.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fun. And again, actually, my phone, I have this Galaxy S9 Note, Galaxy Note 9. This got really quite decent, for such a portable, small thing. It does pretty decent audio and video as well. So I've recorded some gigs on that for fun, and it came out pretty okay. Yeah. So that's nice.
Bill Winokur would love to know who Don's sax teachers.
I got a whole studio full of mics. I got everything here. What's that?
I'm interrupting. I changed paths because I'm kind of ADD that way. I just so you know what you're on right now. You're on my phone, and I'm projecting onto my iPad, and I have a little Zoom microphone here that I just love. I love my little Zoom microphone. It's a good thing.
Cool.
But so Bill Winokur would love to know who your sax teachers were growing up.
Oh, that's actually a fun story because having grown up in Kentucky,
fireworks.
My first teacher was my high school teacher, of course, which is where we all so many of us instrumentalists start. Middle school and then high school. So the high school guy was really Ernie Sanders, my first teacher. He's a saxophone player. He's still alive in Louisville. So Ernie was my first teacher, and he basically wouldn't really teach me per se, but so much as guided me like he guided all the students. But my first real teacher was a guy named Mike Tracy. And Mike Tracy runs the program at the University of Louisville now, where I grew up. And his protege, I got him because his protege was Jamie Aebersold.
Oh, wow.
He was a protege of Jamie Aebersold. And so I studied with Jamie directly because he's in New Albany right across the river. So I went to Jamie's campus, and Jamie has been hugely supportive of me. So Jamie, probably the bulk of what I know about jazz in all the academic sense, informational data sense in particular, and then a lot about the history and stuff came from Jamie and Mike. Technique and stuff, they came from those guys. I learned the next level from playing with Freddie Hubbard and those guys, and being around George Coleman and Benny Golson, who's a big mentor of mine. Benny's been a huge mentor. I just was emailing with him the other day, and he's been really huge for me, Benny Golson. So those are my main guys. Mike Tracy, Ernie Sanders first, Mike Tracy, Jamie Aebersold, and when I was in college, I studied with Jerry Gonzi and Billy Pierce. Those are my teachers in college. When I was at Harvard, they were in Boston, so I used to take the bus and go see them. And those guys taught me a lot. And then finally, Benny Golson has been my kind of main career mentor because he's a guy I really hooked up with in the 90s, and he's really guided me throughout, And a bunch of other guys have taught me stuff. Like Marcellus has been super supportive. He always shares me stuff with me when we talk about saxophone, and I talked to a bunch of we all talked to a lot of the saxophone players. Eric Alexander, we've hung out a lot. Craig Handy, we've hung out a lot. The guys, those are guys. Some of my favorite players that we just talk sax, and so I learned a ton from them. It's been great. But yeah, Jamie Aebersold was probably the biggest early influence. Him and Mike, those guys put my feet on the path of dealing with theory, piano, learning tunes. I got to college, I knew like 100 tunes by the time I got to school. I was an engineering guy, so I wasn't even studying jazz. But I just jazzed every day and played tunes, so I learned tunes and scales and all that good stuff from those guys. So you have a degree in engineering. Well, I don't have a degree. I actually didn't finish. So I went for a couple of years and wanted to play. So I was at Harvard in the 80s. I started at Harvard in 1981. By the way, here's a fun fact or fun question. See if you can guess what my tuition was at Harvard in 1981 when I started. Take a guess.
$20,000 a year.
20,000. Good guess. $9,470.
$9,470 for tuition, books, and everything.
9,470. That was it for Harvard.
Books
and you believe that?
No, books and dorm and everything, food and everything.
No, the dorm. That's the bottom line was 18,000 total with all that stuff.
Okay.
I'm just talking tuition.
But you went for 2 years and then you left.
Yeah, I went for about two and a half years, and then I decided, I
gotta go on tour.
Well, what happened was, I was, in my second year, my sophomore year, Sasha Lewis, who's John Lewis's son from the Modern Jazz Quartet. Mm-hmm. So his son came to Harvard in 1982. So we were in a Harvard jazz band together during my sophomore year. We became good friends. I used to go down to New York and visit him because I wanted to. Because Wynton Marsalis was like the guy in those days, and so I kind of was idolizing him. So I wanted, kind of be like that. I wanted to join Art Blakey's band. I wanted to do all that stuff. Even when I was an engineering geek, like I really was, I still was shedding every day and wanted to play saxophone. So I used to go down and visit Sasha. So I'd stay with John Lewis's house with their family and hang out in the early 80s, 82, 83. And John Lewis was like, man, what a supportive guy he was. He was really super supportive. He said, man, so I told him, so when I decided I thought I can do this. I really just had it in my head, I can do this. So I went through the arduous process of changing course. And I thought, let me take a year off and go to New York and find a place. I got a place. John Lewis found me an apartment. John Lewis gave me my first place in New York. And so I got this apartment up in Washington Heights. And I used to go to Blue Note sessions every night. I used to go to walk all through Harlem. Luckily, I was a big guy, so no one messed with me. And I went through all the clubs in Harlem. I went to Dude's Lounge to see Jack McDuff. I used to go to Sutton's and see my man, his name will come back and see his face, but his name will come back to me. But all these cats, I mean, a ton of cats in Harlem in the 80s. I used to go and see all those cats every night. I was out every night.
Gitchens.
So that was my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Gitchens, and I'm just thinking of places up in Harlem. I'm curious. Hey,
Yeah.
Hi, Gail Boyd. I was going to ask you about when you were going to be on Gail's show.
Oh,
thanks, Lillian. Hi, Gail. What was your rent in your apartment? Now, since we know.
$120 a month. $120 a month. It was not my own apartment. It was a room. So I had a room and a bathroom.
In Harlem.
But it was still like it was in Washington Heights.
Beautiful.
161st and Fort Washington Avenue.
Sure.
So it was so cheap that I did a little computer work on the side because I always planned to go back to Harvard. So I got a computer job on the side. So in the daytime I was writing code in between about a few days a week, and at night I'd go hit the clubs. And that was my thing for like the year.
That was your school.
Then what happened was, it was great, but then what happened was I started getting real gigs. And so I took another year off, and then my second year off, I got hired by Wynton. Actually, Betty Carter first. Betty Carter, well, first it was the Harper Brothers. The Harper Brothers took me under their wing first. In that first year, Philip went out Harper. Even though I had big old glasses and I was a total geek guy, they said, I bet this guy can play a little bit. And sure enough, Ralph Ward left their band, and they hired me. So I worked with the Harper Brothers for like a bunch of years, several years, overlapping all these other gigs. But Winard was with Betty Carter at the time. So then Betty, it just so happened that she was getting her educational groove on. So she pulled me in to her band along with Philip Harper. And that's when I met Gail, actually, which we're talking in 85, 86, something like that. So, and then in my first gig with Betty, or one of my first gigs, Wynton Marsalis was in the audience, and he picked me up after Branford had left. And that was just pure, well, it wasn't total luck, because what happened was me being Mr. Bold, I got on the phone when I got to New York and got set up. I called him on the phone and said, Mr. Marsalis, my name is Don Braden, and I want to play with you. So some kind of way, that must have been in there, because he showed up to see Betty, and there I was, and then I got the call to work with him for some time. And then I kept getting gigs. I went from his band to Tony Williams, and then from Tony Williams to Freddie Hubbard, and from Freddie Hubbard to Roy Haynes, and from Roy Haynes to the Tom Harrell Band for 4 years, and I was overlapped that with the Mingus Big Band for 6 years. And I kept getting all these gigs, so I got married. My wife got married, then I got all this stuff, all these opportunities. I never made it back to Harvard, so I never got my degree because I kept getting gigs. Crazy, right?
You got other degrees.
No, are you kidding? I got post grad.
Totally.
From the jazz world.
Yeah.
I got every kind of butt kicking, learning, amazing experience. I mean, I was with Freddie Hubbard for 2.5 years. That alone, a story of life, just being around him, and Roy Haynes even more so. Tony Williams too. I mean, those guys, just being around them, watching how they operate, and learning what to do, what not to do, with certain situations. I mean, it was very deep. I was still decoding. Betty Carter was another one. Betty Carter was like a study in a creativity and compassion and like she had a vision what she wanted to get done. She always would be clear what she wanted from us. We could always do it, but I tell you what, Betty Carter was my single, probably in some ways, the person who influenced me the most, well, by far actually, with singers. Like she taught me the thing of, I'm a tenor player, right? So what do tenor players do? We play 10 million notes. That's what we do. You know, we play 10 million notes. And Betty Carter was the first one of all of my teachers. She was the first one to say, okay, slow down.
Yeah. Less is more.
Less is more. She taught me those lessons, and I actually listened. I mean, it's the way she put it, and she gave me space, but yet I knew, and she taught me how to balance the space and still play. So I'm on her record. Look what I got. I'm on her record because she got her Verve deal. Verve had, you know, partnered with her Bitcar label, right? Gail negotiated that deal. That was in the middle 80s.
Thank you, Gail.
I'm on that first Verve record. Thank you, Gail. And that whole experience was a learning experience that I can't even put a value on, because just the concept of getting away from your youthful high energy output and into this team thing, the thing of working together, hearing everybody around you, interacting. That was Betty Carter that laid the groundwork for all that. She really was. She's probably the most important influence, and now that permeates all my teaching. That whole concept permeates my teaching. So and playing, and so I could argue that she's one of my biggest influences, just in general. You know.
I believe it. I can see it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's beautiful. Betty, the first time I met her was at Yoshi's in Oakland on Claremont, and I went every night. And then the second time, and then the third time, and then she played at Kimball's, and I seconded on the sound for my friend Julian, and whatever she needed, water, fruit, I learned, yes. Yeah, and just would sit in the front row, and I saw Sylvester Garnett play his first gig with Betty, the very first night. And I was sitting right in the front, and she was scatting, and she'd turn around and go, bop, and he was like off of his chair. And you could see how she taught on stage. She had the most, she knew who she wanted on stage. She knew what she could get from them, and they didn't know it. You didn't know what you were getting from her. Right. Now you do.
Right. Well, in my case, it was a little easier because it was the main educational things didn't happen on stage. It happened like in the studio, and she was quite explicit and clear with what she was. So in my case, she was the bulk of the time. I mean, there's other things that happened on stage that was this all in terms of education. The way she really had a way of stretching notes, stretching time, stretching all the stuff, And so that was a huge thing. But just in terms of her articulating what she wanted out of me as a horn player, because she didn't use a bunch of horn players. So me and Philip Harper were the first two in some years, as far as I know. After that, Mark Shim and Craig Handy and a bunch of some cats came after that, right? But me and Philip were the first. So with us, she was, especially with me, I played 1 million notes. So she was like, okay, man, you got some nice notes, but too many of them. So, and you got the swing. I mean, she was like all about the swing, and I was all about some youthful energy and stuff. And she was like, that's all good, but let's get some focus, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, Betty.
So huge lesson, man. To this day, probably my most important lesson. Like I said, I tell my students early on, you might not appreciate this fully now, but just develop the skill of leaving space and pacing yourself. Pace is huge for everything. Just looking at what your target is, where you're going, and then figuring out your pathway to get there in a bit of in a more foresighted way. Not to prepare, not to. I mean, we're being creative, right? So we're making it up as we go, but at the same time, we have a target. So we have a pathway that or a collection of pathways that are possible for us to follow. And so if we look at our improvisational journey in this way that informs us that we don't have to play every single note along every step of the path, because it's not all about us, right? It's about the totality of the expression, the group expression. And so if you become sensitive to that, then you're doing what jazz really is and what it's really about. It's really not about you playing all this stuff you practice. It's not about that. That's cool though. I mean, it's cool you practice, and it's cool you can play some stuff, but it's not about you and your stuff. It's just not. It's really about we listen to each other, we tune into each other, and then whatever we have to say intermingles along the lines of swing or with the groove. and we do that, we're doing what the jazz, we're doing what it is. Along the way, we're dancing, right? Because jazz is dance music. So, you know, Betty Carter, man. I mean, she didn't articulate all that, but that was the message underneath. Because she was talking about swing. I mean, she went back to that time and time again.
Yes.
Just like Benny Golson, just like all the cats I ever studied with, in the end, that message was always in there. You know, gotta swing. So.
Speaking of, and Gail said something very sweet. She said, I'm just going to, because I love it, and I love her so much. She said, "Hi, Jenna and Don, two of my favorite people."
Oh.
And it's true.
Well, yeah, back at her, of course.
I just
we love
this
Gail. We
one.
love our Gail Boyd, big time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Do you feel like playing something?
Of course. Sure. I always like playing something.
Thank you.
Yeah. Look what I happen to have.
Imagine that, right? Bam, right there. Yes, we could.
Let's see. Huh?
My friend Melanie Demore said we could start our own music university with the folks that I have on 1111.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know you have a bunch of good people, and you yourself, you know, I know it's a good collection of knowledge, a good lots to share. So let me know if this is too. I'll play a couple notes. Let me know if the level. I'm not sure. I'm just using my phone, so I'm not sure what the level's going to be.
Good night, Gail.
Hey,
before you leave, Gail, if you haven't left yet, who's on tomorrow? Alternative venues for jazz every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Gail Boyd has a guest on that speaks for a half an hour on subjects of artists and managers and promoters and public producers, everything. So she's still here. But
I'll be there at some point too, because we have something for me to talk about too.
I was on I think the first week when I was sick and I was on. I go, I'll do it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh wow, I gotta because you have to sit there for a half an hour, and you just talk, and then talk for like 15 minutes, and then they have questions, but it's evolving, and the last week was just everybody. It's just been the Baylor Project was on, and she's.
Oh yeah.
It's so great. I love them. Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Good night, Gail.
No. Good night, Gail.
Oh, I have a friend that's asking, did you ever meet Aretha Franklin? Have you ever played with Aretha?
No. I wished. She's always one of my favorite artists, man. Awesome singer, piano player. I mean, her early records, man. She could have easily been a killing jazz singer should she have chose to go there.
Yeah.
She went to soul, of course, the queen of soul, and rightly so.
She went right where she needed to be.
Her musical skills were very high. I mean, she was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Detroit's own.
Never got a chance, unfortunately. So let me know if this is levels okay.
Okay.
How's it?
Sounds great.
Okay.
How's it sound to you guys out there? I can't.
I'm not sure what your sound is coming through. Is it going through your speaker back to your speaker, or how do you have it going?
Speaker into the Zoom.
Okay. Well, hopefully it sounds all right.
Hi, Tanya. It sounds great from my end. So, and I haven't heard anyone say anything yet else. So we could.
Okay.
I'm getting a heart. Yep, it's
Okay.
all good. Melanie says yes. Yep, we're good.
All right.
What are you gonna play?
I'll play. How about it could happen to you? Is that
Ooh,
good?
please. Bravo. Yes, indeed. Pardon me, but yes, this is the bomb shit. Yes. Don Braden, everybody. Check it out. A friend of mine that comes on the show, she's a chef. Her name is Jenna Mammina. A few weeks back, she said something was the bomb shit, and so that's been part of it. You're getting lots of clapping going on here. If I don't have my clapping machine. I have a CD that Dave Love sent me of different applause, but I don't have it plugged in.
Right, like they use on Howard Stern or whatever, right?
Yeah, so we do that. We do it for Corona Roki, which I invited you to, which you're more than welcome to be a part of any Thursday. We do it every Thursday.
Yeah, I'll try to come out next Thursday. I couldn't come this Thursday. I had something going on, but I'll try to come next Thursday.
Please.
Sounds like fun.
So tomorrow night, Blue Note.
Yep, tomorrow night, Blue Note, 8 p.m. Me and Oscar Perez doing duo right here from Shea Studio, Braden. Litchfield Jazz Camp streams. They'll be on my I put on my website yet, but I'll put on my website. We just confirmed the dates. I believe I want to say the 14th of July and the 20th of July. That's what I want to say. Tuesday, and I'm gonna check to make sure. Let me just see if I can check now without disrupting the
Sure.
so I can give accurate
We're
data.
here.
I'm trying to disrupt the
And then
flow.
you can post your website and anything on this feed, because you'll be tagged in this show. I think you already are. I think I tagged you from the beginning. I learn something different almost every day, so I tag.
Yep. There we go. Well, I'm still, believe me, I'm doing the stream thing tomorrow, and I'm going to be learning a lot, because they want me to stream to Facebook and Instagram simultaneously.
How are you?
Which is going to be... Well, I can use, there's some tools, via OBS, via OBS and Yellow Duck, and I'm still working on it tonight to try to get it squared away. So I'm going to try to stream it through my audio computer, so that I get the sound, kind of the next level up, ideally. And then I can stream out of, once I get the OBS feed going, I can put individual cameras, one for Oscar at the piano, one on me on the tenor, with mics well hooked up as well. Then I can do the output of that OBS feed to Yellow Duck / Restream.io deal, and hopefully I can get it out to both of them simultaneously. So probably in the middle of the night tonight, I'll be streaming, actually.
Checking it out.
Stuff, like at 3 a.m. or something, just doing a live stream to see if I can test it out, or sometime tomorrow during the day, I'll see if I can. But if I can't do it that way, then I'll do relatively low tech. I'll use my phone for one, for Instagram, and use the SLR for via Zoom or whatever through my computer, and I'll just do it that way.
Just put it on landscape.
What's that?
Make sure you shoot it on landscape for Instagram.
I will. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate that, because I haven't done an Instagram stream. I didn't even know they did live streams actually until the Blue Note thing pointed it out. So that's a good piece of advice. So the OBS feed would be a landscape stream anyway. So if I can use that, it'll take care of it. Otherwise, I'll turn my phone this way.
Right. I've done it. I've streamed both from my phone and from my iPad at the same time, because I've tried the other streaming, and everybody goes, oh, just do this or do this. I'm like, I've tried, but I will. I'll get there. I'm getting there. Slowly by surely.
It's all part of our learning process and the new reality, and so I'm learning something new pretty much every project. There's some new thing that comes along that I got to decode and try to get working. So, it's been quite an interesting journey. Yes. So, but it's fun. Like I said, we're jazz people. I mean, we improvise, we do. So, at least with that part of it, we got that creative, kind of mindset that we can bring to bear on whatever the need is. But obviously, technology has its own set of, to put it nicely, challenges. So, we'll just have to see. But anyways, that's tomorrow night. Oh, I got those dates. So it is July 14 and July 20 in Litchfield. So those are my 2 dates. And that'll be I believe it's at 7 p.m. is I believe when those streams are. So that'll be trio at least. Me, Steve Johns. He doesn't even know it yet, but that's what I'm going to call.
Steve, if you're watching, you got a gig.
Steve, if you're watching, yeah, you're on this gig. Let me know if you're free July 14th. They just confirmed the dates, but he's on our faculty in Litchfield, so I'll probably have him at least on one of them, and then I have to get. I'm gonna ask Dave Stryker to play at least one of them.
Oh, please tell him I said hello.
Oh, well, yeah, he's super guy.
I love Dave.
Yeah, he's awesome. So we get him on at least one of them, and then whoever I'm still putting together the bands, and I have to configure the studio for social distance relatively and all that. But I got a good space here. It's big enough to do it, but I just have to be a little creative in terms of cameras and things like that. So we'll see. But that's my engineer guy, engineer geek. My engineer geek.
You're a geek. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun. So. Oh, I got one more thing to mention too. I'm doing a stream for I have a funk band called Big Fun. Big Fun.
Big Fun.
So Big Fun with a K. So we're doing our Big Funk stream July 31st out of Carl Latham. Carl Latham, our drummer, my co-leader for Big Funk, has a series called Music from the Cabin. So he owns the bass player Mark Egan's old house. He bought it from him some years ago, and it had a studio built into it. So we recorded our second Big Funk record there. We've done some other stuff up there with Carl. So he's doing streaming concerts from there. He's got cameras and booths and all that stuff. Oh, knocked me over. Oh, my head.
I know. I almost lost everything. You almost had you almost had a full screenshot of this girl right here. Lillian Pearl.
Which girl?
Lillian Pearl.
Who Lillian Pearl? I can't see him. Dog?
Oh, she's my dog.
Yeah.
She's my girl.
I get you on I'm looking over. I can see you on the screen. I can see a full YouTube feed with both of us. So July 31st is our Big Funk stream.
Well, I want to watch that.
It's gonna be really fun. It's a Friday night. So every Friday, Carl streams from the cabin. So you can check out. Just Google or Facebook Music from the Cabin out of Carl Latham's. Carl, I can put a link to it or
post a link.
Whatever you put.
Just post any link you want to right here. Mr. Dave Love is now joining us. Hello, Dave.
Dave Love, what's up?
We had royalty on tonight. Dave Love, Gail Boyd, all kinds of people.
Nice.
Keith, Terry, Melanie DeMore. Thank you. Wow, well, this has been super fun, and I would love for you to come back again whenever you have some time and come and play more and talk more and tell more stories.
I got them. I got stories. I got playing. I got all of it. I love hanging out with you always. So it's always an honor to be a part of this little adventure. I've been watching some of the previous shows and whatnot, and it's awesome. It's really fun. So thank you for doing this for your fellow world citizens who are looking for fun moments to share, and throughout our little cabin, cabin fever, I guess is not quite right, but whatever we are, our cooped up state is being helped tremendously by you and your gifts of love to everyone. So we really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. It's been such a gift for me to do this, and I'm not going to stop. And I don't, I'll be wherever I am for 11:11. We all already established a while back that wherever I am at 11:11 Eastern Standard Time, I'll be on. I'll be here. Dave Love and Ruth both send their love to you, and wishing you well. And I do too. Have a blast tomorrow night at the Blue Note. And you wore the right color tonight too. You got your Blue Note, kind of a blue vibe going on.
Got my blue.
Yeah.
So I'll wear some other blue tomorrow. Let's see about that.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Don Braden, everybody. For sure. Thank you. And I will be calling you back in a couple minutes. Is that cool?
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
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 Wasn't that fun? Yay, Lillian Pearl. She's not having fun with these fireworks, I'll tell you that much. Well, this last 4 nights of my life have just been so incredible. Corona Roki, Patrick Liddell, Dr. Patrick Liddell, Melanie DeMore, Don Braden, I'm a happy woman. I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy that you're all here. And I appreciate your support, and I appreciate your donations, and I appreciate the fact that you take the time to be here. And I mean, it's 12:15 at night, right? It's Sunday night, and it's whatever time it is for you. 6, 9, 8. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tomorrow night, meditation. I'll be doing a song meditation, and I may have Tom, I'm not sure. But if not, I will be doing it right here in my little pad. And yeah, Melanie was great. Melanie's fabulous. I love Melanie DeMore. Dave, we really want to do, we want to take this on the road, but for sure, freight and salvage. How is where you are? It looks like you're having a really spectacular time with your family. Beautiful. And that storm the other night that I remember I said to you, oh, it's starting to rain here. Ooh, it was like a tornado. Like cut paths of trees and crazy, crazy, crazy. And now it's beautiful and beautiful sunset tonight, and Mama Grace and I had a wonderful time, and we will do the same tomorrow, and I will be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then tomorrow night, meditation. And then we just keep rolling from there. So you keep scrolling, and I'll keep it rolling. Peaceful, peaceful mind. Joyful words. And an unstoppable heart. Big hugs. Giving you all a big hug. Giving myself a big hug. Heart to heart hug. Thank you, Don Braden. Oh, good. So beautiful. So beautiful. Say hello to your family for me. Hi, Ruth. Will I see you? Oh, maybe I won't see you Thursday night. Tanya, hello. We need to talk. Tanya, we need to talk. Big giant hug. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julie. What a night. Oh, what a night. Late. What month is it? Are we? Is it July? No, it's June still. Hello, it's me. There are 11 of you. There are 10 of you. Love heart. Thank you. Thank you, Don. Oh, there's Ruth. Hi. I can't leave yet. Yeah, it was really fun. Okay, I gotta leave because I gotta do another thing with Don, because I do another interview that I film and then I post on my Patreon page. Patreon page. I have someone just messaged me. What's the other? Venmo or PayPal. But the Patreon has a little extra something going on there. Okay. Again, love hard. Love hard.